how has it affected the industry to have two of the three console-making companies not be video game developers? I think that's easier if you look at it from like the viewpoint of Nintendo. Nintendo has always been a game maker, and when you play a Nintendo game, it's very game-like. They like to make sure that there are things that are fun, unique. They try to add new touches, even if they're small things like the anti-grav on, you know, the Mario Kart 8, the multiplayer that completely changes how something like Super Mario 3D World is played. I think with Microsoft, it changes how people view a system. Microsoft coming from the, you know, the world of PCs, especially OSs, you have really seen a difference in how the operating systems of a console work. I mean, really, you didn't have anything remotely close to a real operating system on a console until you got to the 360. And from Sony's point of view, I don't really know what to say about Sony because they've been in games a little bit longer, but I feel like that's where you started to get games that were less Twitch, less platformy, less shooter, and you started to get more cinematic experiences. And I think that sort of makes sense given that Sony is in the TV manufacturing business, the movie business, and those sorts of things. So you've got things like how the systems run that have changed. You've got things like the actual game experience that have changed. And then you've got Nintendo that seems very staunchly focused on just making a game a video game.
Well, I hate to say, is it too cliche to say Nintendo tries to focus on fun first? The actual fun experience of the games and everything else is secondary? I mean, look at, it wasn't until the Wii U that you have like really good integration with the internet and Netflix. The Wii didn't have any of that stuff really built in.
Well, Netflix, but it wasn't great.
Yeah, you know, that was like, who cares about that? Now, finally, like, oh, we have to include that, but that wasn't their primary focus.
And that's because of companies like Microsoft and then later Sony. So, I mean, all these companies, I think, have affected each other. I think the problem is that Nintendo's not affecting Sony or Microsoft enough.
Well, they did the last generation with, I mean, the PlayStation Move and Kinect.
Right, okay, I'm sorry, in all the wrong ways. Yeah.
A little motion control never hurt anyone.
Sure.
I thought it was funny that the president of Sony used to make fun of the Wiimotes. Then they got basically.
It looks
Wiimotes.
like a lollipop, he says, and then they released something that looks
literally
exactly
look
like
closer
a
like a lollipop. The Wiimotes never had a glowing purpley orange ball on the top of it.